Today.
I'm coming back.
Yeah, no problem. Hey, welcome everybody, Comic Book Club. This is the comic book people that read the comic books in the comic book club. This week's choice was Man of Steel 18, and that was selected by Mr. D Runk. So, D Runk, take her away, my friend.
Yeah, man. So this is the book.
Wow.
All right. Yeah, it's one. Um, all right. So this is the story that really kicks off the death of Superman. Most people know that. If you don't know that, it's weird that you're even watching this. But um, this is the first full appearance of this character named Doomsday that eventually kills Superman. Sorry for the spoiler warning, or the lack of it.
It's been what, 33
It's only been 30
years?
years. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could. All right. So first page basically is this busting up out of this this metal container that he's in. In later books, not even in this series, but in later other books, you find out why he's there, where he came from.
Actually,
But
last
right
week
off
we
the
kind of explained it, right?
yeah, Calaton basically sent him there.
Hmm.
This panel right here is interesting. This page. He's so powerful that he is able to jump out of the ground that he's been buried in for a very long time. It's solid ground. He's not clawing his way up. He's jumped and he's just punching through it. Which is really impressive. Um, Here begins like a kind of like a side story where um this kid named Keith is uh, trying to find a way to get Superman's attention. So he's getting some spray paint, and he's doing all this because he knows about these monsters in the sewer. And Lois, gets a note, and she decides to go down there and check it out. Then, before we really delve into that story, get back to Doomsday here. He catches Tweety Bird and just crunches him. Then he laughs about it.
Kills Tweety. I mean, come on.
Yeah, and then he laughs.
We've
about
all
it.
wanted to do it.
Right here, these monsters like cut the power to Metropolis, and they're pretty happy about themselves. They feel pretty accomplished right now. Lois is down there investigating things, and she tries to kick this dude named Closter, and her foot hurts after doing that because he's kind of looks like the Thing and Doomsday had a baby.
That's a good way to describe it.
In a weird way, I think they were trying to think that he kind of looked like Doomsday because you almost get that impression.
They're holding her hostage, and Keith sees that he's down, that Lois is down there. Then you come back to Doomsday. He's just punching trees because he can't just walk like a normal ass, civilized person. He's got to like knock over a forest for no damn reason at all.
They're living creatures.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, true. Yeah, he destroy all life. Here, Keith shows that he's not very good at drawing the Superman S, and Superman goes down there to like call him out on it, like, "Hey, dude, that sucked." But then he starts crying, and hey, they got Lois, and here they are. They're down in the sewers. They're drilling around. They're just wrecking shop, being assholes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when Superman jumps down there and starts wrecking shop. They're about to throw a grenade at him, and Superman just grabs the damn thing and jams it down the dude's throat.
That's probably the best part of this book.
Yeah, no, it blows up, and he goes, "Good thing, Closter, invulnerable," and then he passes out.
Yeah, I thought that was funny that he did that. I thought that was very gory for Superman to do that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, you really have to know how you really have to know how much someone can take, but when you're Superman, when you're Superman, you got to know that they can survive it before you do it. So, I don't know how he knew that he would survive it, but I mean, if he did that to me, I probably would have died.
Probably.
We would have choked on it before it got to our stomach.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it wouldn't have been good.
Yep.
But then you see these the fighters are attacking him, and Superman fights back, and he punches this dude in the stomach, and like one like fell a little swoop, just punches the shit out of him, and then he stands on him, which is super disrespectful. You just don't do that. Then you get cut back to Doomsday, and we're about to get to a panel that was featured in the last issue that we read. But not before Superman mistakes this old guy for being Lois's abductor, and really, Lois kicks him in the butt and says, "Hey, don't punch him. He's a friend." And Superman's like, "Oh, Lois, imagine what I could get done if I didn't have to save your life every third day." And then all these monsters are carted off, and Superman's like, "Hey, let's get out of here so we can bone." And they fly off. But this is where Doomsday sees this semi coming at him, and he just punches the damn thing.
And that
this
was
is like the best art. The best art in the book is that truck.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this was the panel that was referenced in the last issue that we read with the truck driver that died. You get to see his wife in the Doomsday Year One book, and this dude hits him up. He's like, "Oh, this is not good. This guy's punching shit. Call the Justice League." And that's where this book leaves off. So that's where the book leaves off. I'll tell you, the side story, yeah, the side story I didn't care for a whole lot, but I do like what it was. It was meant to be, in my eyes, when I read it, this is like a normal day for Superman. There's some monsters in Metropolis. Lois needs saving. He's doing his thing. It's a normal day. He woke up this day not knowing that his demise had just crawled out of the earth. And I like that a lot. I think that's a really cool aspect, that this side story didn't need to be a scene stealer. It was meant to show normal day for Superman. And then you really do start to get to see how powerful this creature is, because before this issue, all you saw leading up to it before this issue was these 4 panels that were at the end of the last 4 issues. And you're seeing Doomsday punching a hole in the container that he's trapped in. So this is all you know about him, is that he's got spiky bones at the end of his fists and his skin is gray. But now you can see that he is so powerful that he can jump through the earth, which is insane. Like, you see that he can knock over one of those enormous trees with one hit, and doesn't knock it over. He pulverizes it. He makes it into toothpicks. You see him, punching out a semi truck that's barreling towards him. So you start to realize, like, this dude's pretty powerful. You get to see how powerful he is in upcoming issues. But yeah, man, this is I like this book. The cover, I don't know why. I don't even know how to say. Can someone help me say the artist's name? John
Bogdanova. Probably Bogdanove. He's probably Italian.
We're gonna call him Johnny B going forward. So
Johnny B.
Good old Johnny B. His art at the time of this issue, like, there's 4 Superman books. I felt like he may have been the weakest artist, or close to it. The artist in Action Comics was kind of weak at the time too. But I still really like his art. So the cover, I love a trade just getting smashed.
Yeah, getting smashed. That's awesome.
Very cool. You see Doomsday restrained, busting out, like getting into it. You know, for me, the cover is not amazing, but it's also not great.
It
It's not
definitely draws
awful.
you in. It
Yeah,
draws
no,
you in.
Draws in.
the
I feel
beginning
like
of
it's
the
an
end.
iconic cover, strangely enough.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to give this higher than I probably would if it wasn't iconic. I'm going to give it a 3.5
That's
for
funny.
the
That's what
cover.
I was planning to give. Okay.
Um, the interior art. Um, like I said, I think he wasn't the best artist, but I do like the art in this book. And I always like how he draws Superman. Like, um, this is not great art. It really isn't, but it tells the story. And I think it's fun to read it. He's very muscular, and I know it's Superman because he doesn't change his face. In every panel that he draws Superman in, he looks like he looks the same, which it's an important thing when you're dealing with Superman. And I also like the exaggerated uh the S symbol is always very large when he draws them, and I'm a big fan of that. I want that S to be as big as possible. When I pick how he looks. So, interior art, I'm also going to give it a 3.5. The story, and I already talked about why I like the story. I want to give the story a 4. I don't know, and I'm being honest here. I don't know if I like the story so much because I know the rest of the story, and I think of it as one linear story. Because I do know what's coming, but reading this book for what it is, like I know that Superman's going to die when this whole story concludes. And most readers did actually at the time. Like it was a news event that was covered actually even before the issue came out that he died. Um, so a lot of people knew he was going to die, but I do love the Superman having a normal Superman day, and meanwhile this monster is rampaging across the country, and like they're gonna meet up. And so yeah, give the story a 4. Overall I'm gonna give it a 4 overall. I think better than the sum of its parts.
Sure.
That's I get hit with that a lot, so I'm gonna use it. I'm gonna go with I want to hear what Alan has to say on this book.
Oh, thank you. Okay, cool. So I actually thought that you sort of say Superman's regular day, right? But it's also Doomsday regular day. Like I think this is like a typical day for Doomsday. Go around destroying a planet. That's his kind of MO. So in a way, we kind of see that. In a way, if you like, let's say you were not like you kind of, I don't know, like isolated yourself from the hype at the time, which was pretty hard. I mean, it was big news at the time when Superman was going to die. That if you could isolate yourself and just read this by itself, in a weird way, Doomsday coming to the Earth was just another villain, another bad guy that Superman was going to fight. He deals with bad guys all the time. The guy in the sewer, he was invulnerable too. But Superman dealt with him no problem. So in a way, you're not expecting that this new threat is anything different than something that Superman might experience on a regular basis. But it's trying to, what I find that this book is trying to do, and it does it well, is showing you that, first of all, he is a creature that is super powerful. He jumped through the ground, basically. He's one that is not compassionate at all. I mean, they made this bird. I mean, the scene with the bird is like, the most harmless of creatures. Cute, like very Tweety Bird. It was Tweety Bird. It was Tweety Bird. and he literally crushes them in his palm.
And he
Just
laughs about
no,
it. He's like,
no mercy, and he laughs. He laughs
I
at it.
know.
And they actually, you know, it was almost like a running gag in the story where he would do something evil, destroy something, and laugh about it. And, you know, and it was like, you know, Tweety Bird was the first. You know, they always say that serial killers start with animals and then they progress. Doomsday was that kind of guy. So, you know, he destroys like an interstate like road thing.
Yeah.
And he laughs about it, and you can see like just the carnage and like stuff there, and he laughs about it. He does that all the way through.
he's pure destruction.
He is pure destruction, and as I said, it's like a typical Doomsday Day. And now I thought that the story with Superman, where, you know, it is a separate story. They're two separate. There was actually 3 stories in this, and they kind of slightly converge. There's the story of the little boy and his motivations, that he's trying to find his mom. He's trying to, like, he heard that they you know, that these people in the monsters, he calls them, that they have abducted her, and they are abducting her to keep him silent so he doesn't tell anyone about it, right? What are you doing that
You're
for?
not big right now. Big. D's big.
I see. I never know. It looks like I'm big for me. I don't know why it flips around. It doesn't like me. Okay. So the point is, you see this boy, and he really he wants to go to Superman and say, "Hey, Superman, there's this thing going on," but he's scared to do so because he doesn't want his mom to die. So he thinks that if he, you know, creates like sort of a similar to Batman thing. You know, Batman, you have to show it in the sky because Batman's on the ground and you'll look up and see it. Well, Superman's flying around, so he has to put it on the ground so that Superman can see it, right? There's that. They kind of had that little thing in it. So I kind of like all those little elements. I thought they were really good story elements, where they tried to, instead of telling the story through Superman's eyes, even though it's a day in the life of Superman, they told it through a character that was not Superman. They told it through this little boy's eyes, and had that sort of development. Now, overall, we'll go from the cover. I give the same grade as D gave. I'm going to give it a 3.5 for the cover. I think it's a cover that when you see it, you go, "Oh, that's a key." Like, I can't help but think that when I see that cover, I think, "Oh, that's a key," and it's because you get Doomsday on the cover. I love when the character makes their first appearance and they're on the cover. It's just like a thing for me. Like, that is like the quintessential awesomeness situation where you get the character making their first appearance and they're on the cover. The interesting thing about this is Doomsday. We, like, now, when, you know, years later, we don't think of Doomsday looking the way he did on this cover, because he's got that weird suit thing that, you know, kind of contains him a bit, right? We think of him as the bony, like, kind of like exoskeleton-y kind of creature. So that's the interesting thing about this. Like, most superheroes, you see them as their, like, Clark Kent. You see him as Clark Kent, and then he becomes Superman. Well, this is like kind of the opposite with Doomsday. You see him as his with his costume on, and then you actually, you know, he becomes the Doomsday that we recognize when he's without this costume thing. The costume thing I know is his containment suit or whatever it's called. But yeah, I just thought that was a kind of interesting thing. Now, the interior art, I felt like it was a hit or miss. It was a little wonky in spots. I'm not going to give it as high as the cover. I felt like the cover is kind of more iconic and it has a little bit more appeal to me. I'm going to give it a 3. So I'm going to give it a slightly lower score. Now, the interior story, I thought it was solid. In a weird way, when you're reading it, I'm not sure if you guys felt this, but I felt disappointed. And the reason I felt disappointed was not that I didn't enjoy the story. That's not the point. I felt disappointed because I felt like, oh, wait, we're just getting into it. It's just starting. it's sort of like, you know, you're expecting like this should be part 1 and there should be part 2 right, continuing on within the same comic, but it's not there. It's like, oh crap, we got to we got to wait till next week. That's, but I think that's actually good story writing. So that you want to read that next part. So I'm going to give it not quite as high as D, but I will give it like a 3.75 on it. I think that story, it does get you, and it makes you want to read the next part. And overall, I do agree that's greater than some of its parts, and I would say it's a 4.
Boom.
Yeah. And this is like not just an iconic book, it's like one that it's quintessential 90s. It's like the book of the 90s.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Oh,
Well, thank you.
Now. See, I see myself as big right now, so I feel happy.
You are.
Very well done. Thank you. Who'd you like to go next?
I'll go with Matt.
All right.
Just because I want to prove I have it.
Everybody has it. Everybody has it.
Okay. I like it. I mean, like that goes without saying, but I say it anyway. I like the whole way it was set up. Because they always say you never know when you're going to die. You wake up, it's just a normal day up till that point, right? No one knows, because as far as I know, it's pretty much the same day, maybe a day later. I don't know, but it's the same fight, right? Superman doesn't know any of this is going to happen. And I feel they foreshadow it a little bit by having him fight monsters who are not as powerful, to sort of like to lull the reader a little bit. Oh, it looks like I'm doing the same thing that okay. It is a little shock to the system, but I mean the whole point of the Tweety Bird was, yes, to set up the fact that this guy's bad. He's not good. Although the cover says his name is Doomsday, so right off the bat, nobody good could be, hey, you're giving out food to the orphans. What's your name? Doomsday. It's not going to happen.
Doesn't quite work.
And, we have the hindsight now of 35 years having read the book and such, or 33 years, I think, It is face it, it is the preliminary bit to a storyline that is so amazing overall that this lacks a little bit only because we don't have as much information. But it makes a good building block in that we get to see the creature. We get to see the initial call of the Justice League, because if I remember correctly, Justice League 69 is the next book in this storyline. You get to see what Superman does on a normal day and the kind of relationships he has with some of the people of Metropolis, because this kid, thinks nothing about, if I contact Superman, he'll come. And that's probably a thought of 3 million people in the city.
Yeah.
They
and
all
the first
feel
thing the
like
kid does is hug him too when he sees him.
Yes. So, and of course, Lois gets in trouble again because
always has to rescue.
My only downside is in the Lois scenes, Lois was a little too familiar by kicking him in the butt. And she shouldn't be that way, knowing that she's a married woman and no one knows Superman is the husband.
Oh, so Lois and Clark are married at this point?
No, but they are dating. They're engaged. If you'll remember, the Doomsday story came out because they wanted to marry them off. Okay. And they were told, no, wait till the TV show does it. So then let's just kill them off. That was the meeting.
That's so jerky.
That was the meeting. So let's just kill them. I have it's in a Superman book that I have, like the one of those talks about what goes on behind the scenes. Dan Jurgens said, every story meeting I bring up, let's kill Superman. And everybody's like, no, you can't do that. You can't do that. And then when they were told they couldn't marry them off, and he said, let's kill them, they all went, sure. And that's where it came from.
Wow.
Because, I mean, there's 4 books, 4 people. They needed to coordinate the stories, right? So they had a weekly meeting, apparently.
Wow.
So I'll begin with the cover. Now, this is iconic. This cover is so iconic knowing what's coming, knowing what was going to come because of all the press and all the other stuff around it, knowing what this is, I don't care about art quality. All I'm seeing is these two eyes are looking right at me into my soul. I'm coming for you too, motherfucker. So I actually find that the cover is very powerful, and I give it a 4.5.
Wow.
Now I'm going to flip that because the interior art is average. Now I agree with D that he does a good Superman. I don't like much others than he does. Actually, I find that his the guy who swallowed the grenade, I find he looks very jerky and very
different
I
size.
know he's a monster and he's not really a natural creature to begin with, but I find he looks extra unnatural, and that throws me off with a lot of it. So I'm only going to give the interior art a 2.5. Now, the story, for what it is, and it's setting up this big iconic story, it does a great job. We find out how evil he is. We see Superman is just having a regular day. Like I said, you don't know it's the last day. I don't know if you guys have seen The Sopranos, but one of the big things that keeps getting repeated, and then when he dies in the last episode, you never hear the shot. You don't know.
I was gonna watch that. Now you ruined it. No, it's freaking.
No. You never know it's your last day on Earth.
Yeah.
You don't. You're literally you're walking, and then so. I really like this setup. So I'm actually going to give the story a 4 because I think it was written well. And it's obvious that, as I said, they did this, even though it's attributed to Louise Simonson.
Yeah, it's Louise Simonson.
Okay. Even though it's attributed to her, it's a group effort. Basically, they walked out saying, you're going to write this part. You're going to write this part. You're going to write this part. I'm Dan Jurgens. I'm in charge. Okay. So that's basically what happened. If you, as I said, but then again, I've had the advantage of knowing, reading about how they did this. So overall, its status being whatever, it inflates the book. I give the book a 4.5.
Wow.
But again, I have a real soft spot for Superman stories. And so that's my review. TM, you're up.
Okay. Let me get TM over there. Thank you, Matt.
All right. So I will say the best part of this book was the Doomsday. Like how he like just came in and he killed that bird and laughed. And then the whole parts of just Doomsday is him causing destruction and just laughing, knowing that this guy is a beast, that this guy just doesn't care about anything, and that his whole purpose is destruction and mayhem. So I like that part of it. The parts that I didn't like is like the kind of like the main story with Superman and that. Like I enjoyed it for what it was. It just didn't grasp me. Like I kind of felt it a little bland, and I didn't like the monsters and that. Like I get now, like what Matt said, like I kind of understand now, like it makes sense. I didn't get that when I was reading it, but what Matt said, like that the parallel between him fighting monsters now and then a monster's coming, I didn't put that together until Matt said it. So I kind of like it a little bit better now after hearing that, but it was kind of bland, and I didn't like the monsters because like the way that they were talking was just like, oh, I am here. I want to take the electricity. Like their purpose was just kind of to steal the electricity, to take over the city and stuff because I have no power. They'll be primitive just like us.
They don't come across as very smart.
No. So I just didn't enjoy that part, but I do enjoy the Doomsday coming part. Like we know that he is just all destruction, all mayhem, and I'm all for that. So that being said, I'll start with the cover, of course, like we always do. The cover pulls you in. iconic, especially the logo at the top, the Man of Steel being crushed by his fist. It's a cover that really draws you in. I like Matt. I have to give it a 4.5 for the cover. Interior, and I've talked to Biggie about this prior. It's just like I wasn't digging the interior that much, but I come to like it a lot more, especially after seeing a lot of things. Like I think the one thing that really popped out to me, and it's like it's right at the end of the book, is the truck. Like there's so much detail on that truck coming at you. Like you're just like, whoa, like there's a lot of effort put into that, and that's what really drew me in. Also, I want to say that Lois Lane is drawn like a babe. She is super good looking in this book. I'm not gonna lie. So, but the art was hit or miss sometimes, like you guys said. I agree. Especially with some of the faces. Some of the faces were off and distorted. So I just because she was drawn really good, and just because of that truck, I'm gonna give it a 3 for the interior art. Story wise, like I said, I like the coming of like Doomsday and stuff, but the regular story was just a little bland for me. And like I think Alan said it best earlier, that it was just I was kind of a little bit disappointed. And I was hoping for more, and I went with high expectations. I wish I would have went in with like low expectations, or just to know that this is like the first appearance of a character. Then maybe I would have like been a little bit easier on it. But I would have to give the story 3.25. And so overall, I would give it a 4. And I think there's only one person left, so I'll go with that person.
No, I didn't hear the last score. I'm sorry.
It was a 4.
Oh, 4.
Okay, hold on. Let me type that in. All right, and now it's my turn. So I stayed quiet, much like my boy D did, and I just soaked in everything y'all said. And I don't have the book. It's probably the third most read book I've ever read. I had the 6th print where it was started from here till the death. I think I've read Death of Superman more than anything. I don't know if I read that X Factor 80 or whatever it was more than this one, but I do remember reading this a lot because I would start here. Sometimes I would jump to the end and just read that. And then that Circle Chase Deadpool I read a lot too. But I think it's a fucking masterpiece. Like the way it starts off with the bird, it goes to the tree, to the semi. It's like he's just building. It's a build. It's a slow build, and the build keeps going. Like I don't want to rate this book on what happens in the future, but if you read the rest, it just keeps building and building. Doomsday is a scary dude, bro. Like I don't mind that it starts off subtle. I think it's very cool that it starts off subtle. The cover, the closest thing I can compare it to is, in my opinion, the first Rhino. It has a very similar look to the first Rhino, and like Ditko-ish, and it might be a little more detailed actually. Like it's a great cover. I've heard a different story. Like I think what Matt's saying is true, but Louise Simonson played a big part in Death of Superman. I remember hearing from Beckerman say, without her, I'm not sure if this would have came all together. So
she's like think of her as the number 2. Dan Jurgens at the time.
That's what I'm saying. Like I think she might have been number 1.
Well, I mean, like Dan Jurgens was the guy. He was as well as doing the art and some of the writing, he was also the guy who was responsible for coordinating the stories week to week, right? Because each one, this was during the if you can see, it's during the Triangle years. Okay.
Yeah, I can't.
So
I
what
can't
started
get.
the triangle years, by the way, Matt? Quickly.
What?
What started
It
the triangle
started
years?
January 91 and it ended
Well, what started
March.
it? What was the significance of it?
Ugh.
Put the triangle on so that people would know what order to read them in because the stories continued week to week to week to week. So
And
that
this was
you
all
knew,
to build up to the death of Superman, and then go
yes,
beyond it.
yes, because this is number 45. In 1992, there were only 48 because they hadn't come out with the quarterly yet.
But my
And
point is that that's a lot of issues before they even get to the story where it matters.
well, he dies 6 issues later. Like he dies in number 2 of 93.
All right.
Well, Alan, real quick. The triangle was not meant to coordinate the Doomsday story.
No, it
Okay.
was
It was, yeah, it was meant to just tell you, like, hey, if you're reading number 46, the book that came out before it was number 45. Like
Yeah.
that. So they're not. It's like a side number. Like
Yeah,
Man
it
of
just
Steel
seems a little weird.
18.
Yeah.
I think it's a brilliant thing if they're all trying to tell the same story and they're all,
Yeah.
you
You
know,
know that it's going to be the
I
next
know.
issue is going to be in
And to be
Justice League.
honest, Louise Simonson is a big part of it. Okay, just that she's not the one. Okay, she came up with a lot of the points about it. It was her idea apparently to come up with the as they get going, it's 4 panels a page, then 3 panels a page, then 2 panels a page, and then the issue he dies, everyone's a splash page. Like she came up with that idea. That one.
I grew up believing exactly what you said. I grew up thinking it was Jurgens. I'd have to let Beckerman tell the story. Beckerman knows some shit, and he says she was very instrumental. That's all I'm saying. I don't
wouldn't
know
surprise
who's one
me
or two.
because what I have to, you got to remember, any source you read is based on the slant of the person giving the interview or reading it. It was Dan Jurgens who spoke, who was the
Exactly.
one that was telling it. So
Exactly. I'm just pointing that out. Well, maybe I'll get Becker to talk about it one day, but no big deal. It was kind of a backstage thing. So for me, the story, I feel like it's one of the best. I'm a big first appearance key guy kind of
Me too.
reader. If I have a first appearance of a character, I like to see what they look like in the panel. I like to see how they're introduced. I like to see all that shit. This is done extremely well. It's creepy. It's methodical. It's slow. So I have high regards for this. I'm going to just jump into my score. Let's see, Biggie. We'll just go big. So for the cover, I'm going higher than all y'all. I'm going 4.75. It's damn near perfect. Inside art, I'm going 4.5. I think it's fantastic. Everything's done well. Story, 4.75. It's about the best introduction to a villain I've ever read. I mean, Galactus is up there. It might edge it out. And overall, 4.5. Nothing's a 5.
Biggie, I apologize, man. I'll try and pick a book you like next time.
Yeah, no, this is one I like a lot.
Yeah,
So
it
we
seems
could
like
all
you didn't like
converse
it, man.
now.
what I liked the most about the truck scene was, yes, it's like the last page of the book, but that is where you see that he's a danger to humans. I mean, we've had hints. He kills a bird. He wrecks the trees as he's going through. He's probably killing animals as he goes through. Oh, stepping on foxes and rabbits.
I don't
and
know. Like, if you're gonna kill a little defenseless bird, I think you're just like you're ruthless. You're ruthless.
Well, that's my point. But the thing is, it sets up. Oh, he's bad. He's going to be dangerous. By killing the trucker, and they need an excuse to get the Justice League, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that, what I found cool the most about that was it's like he just tosses it and like it explodes. It's like not even much. It's like he stands there, comes up across them, and then goes ah. It's like You're in my way. I'm not going to go around you. It was just pretty cool.
I did grade this with a bit of sentimental value to it, but this is my favorite storyline in comic book history. Death and Reign are I combine them together, and it's my favorite arc. So, of course, I would like this issue. The next issue I'll love. The next issue after that I'll love. Like, it just won't stop.
Doesn't he look like a Tusken Raider a little bit?
Tusken Raider.
I even like whenever he's going through these battles, like once he gets to the part where his arm from behind him gets free, dude, it's like, oh shit. You know what I mean? Like they keep going and pieces of his shit comes off. Then they finally blast him and his arm comes free. It's like, oh, now we're gonna party. You know, like, dude, it's so good. So fucking good.
Bleeker says I'm drunk, apparently.
So the total was 68.
68?
Before the 68, you put 49.50. What does that mean?
That was what it was before my score.
Okay. Oh, you're just adding it as you went. That's cool.
Yeah.
All right.
68. Okay. Wow, that's not as high as I thought it would be.
I tried, man. You guys just don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
That seems low, doesn't it?
It's very low. You guys suck.
So yeah, it's JLA Avengers 3 just went over it. So Man of Steel.
You guys missed an opportunity to give a good score. I think that we get jaded the more books we read. I was putting that into perspective.
I thought I gave it high scores, actually. But
Who gave it the low scores? I don't know. I guess let me look.
I'm going to double check the math.
It's the internal art. It brought it down.
You guys hammered the inside art. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, the inside art was kind of mediocre.
Yeah, I gave it a high score because I saw you.
I gave it a 4 overall, and
And I gave it a pretty. I mean, 3 out of 4. I gave over 4. So
I mean, I could be wrong. I'm just doing it off the top of my head, but I think I got it. I usually nail it.
By the way, it's my choice next week, isn't it?
Yes.
I have a bit of a tough decision to make. Do I want to do the next? What do you want? Golden Age?
I'd say if you're making a decision, go with what you like the most. Like go with your gut.
Well, I was debating about should I do the next book in this series, and then I feel like there's certain books like I would like to do that I actually really enjoyed as like a series of books.
This is a big venture. Like, I think it's worth us doing, but it's just gonna take. It would be a year's worth of content, bro. Like, it's so long.
Well, yeah. If you do all of them, but I mean, if you do up to the death of Superman, that's probably.
That would be about 3 months.
The resurrection part is that's like 20 more years of stuff.
Dude.
So I was debating about that, but then I was debating about there were certain books I like my first appearances books.
Yeah.
And so the one I was thinking about was Journey into Mystery 83.
That's a great cover. Yeah, that's a great cover.
Journey into Mystery.
So that's the one I was thinking about going with. I kind of want to diverge from the ones that we're doing.
So that's the first Thor, right?
First Thor.
Hey, if anyone else wants to double check, I did get 70.5 for the grand total.
I'll check it again.
70.5?
What was mine?
But you said 68, but I do not stand by my math. I could definitely be wrong.
Somebody do the math here.
I'll do it again.
Don't you have it in like an Excel?
No, I just go off the top of my head. So 7, 11, 15.
15 for D.
18.5, 21.5, 25.25, 29.25, 33.50. Okay, that's where I fucked up, I think. 33.50, 37, 38, 40.5, 44.5, 49, 53.5, 56.5, 59.75, 63.75, 68.5, 73, 77.75,
What?
80, 81 is plus 0.575, 82.25. Fuck, I was way off.
Wait. That doesn't make sense. Okay, now we're like
82.25.
way.
Yeah, I think it's 82.
That's
I will
way
do a
too
third
high.
one.
Yeah, go ahead, do it again.
So 7, 11, 15,
I think that's way too high.
15.
I think that sounds more like it,
Okay.
actually. 82.25.
No, because that would mean that we
With
average
15.
gave average score of
You
4.
got it wrong right off the bat, Biggie. It's
Did I?
15. You put 14.25. It's 15 for D. For Allen, okay, so I'm just saying D was 15. Allen, okay, 3.5 and 3 is 6.5. 4 and 3.75 is 7.75. So 6.5 and 7.75 is 5. Carry the 1, 14.25. Making so far a total of 19.25. Then we've got me. 4.5 and 2.5 is 7.
Hey, hold on, Matt. Hold on, stop. If you're adding me and Alan's score together, we'd be at 29.25, right?
Yes. Sorry.
Okay.
Yes. 29.25. 16.5.
Math skills are amazing. Here.
Riveting content, by the way.
Riveting content.
6. So
We
we
should get
are
our
at
calculators out.
46.75 after 3. TM, we've got 7.5 plus 7.25, thus making it 14.75 to 46.75. So 14, so that's 150. And
If you enjoy this kind of content, you can tune in each week and
then Biggie 4.75 and 4.5 and 4.75 and 4.5. So 2 of those is 9 and 4.75 is 9.5. So 18.5 to 61.50. That makes 1. 1 makes 1. Carry. And it's 81 even.
wow.
I must have missed something somewhere. I was closer the second time I added it up.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, guys. Thank you, D, for pointing out.
Well, how did we get from 68 to 81? That's
I fucked up bad.
81 makes the number 5.
Biggie's just like, you guys suck. Low, it scored it low and stuff because it's only at 68 yet. It was.
Yeah, 81. The second time I added it up,
I
I
didn't
was
think
like,
we scored it that low. I thought we were on average around like a 4 points.
Yeah, because like most of us is like, if you go 3 and above, like it's over average. Because
Yeah.
2.5 would be half.
Hold on, everyone, chill the fuck out. Biggie, what are you eating?
It looks like he's eating steak or something.
yeah, I'm eating
The
steak.
important questions.
All right, no, that's all I needed to know. Yeah, and we got some
He
A1
had
on
like
that.
burgers last time.
All right, so now that we have our score, how did this book do?
Yeah, 5th overall.
Okay.
Yay!
Hunter Prey is still number 1.
Naturally,
FF52 is still number 2.
Okay.
Captain America 1 is number 3.
Okay, at least I have a top 3 book. Oh, that's good.
And 3 and number 4 is JLA Avengers 1 at 81.3%. And Man of Steel 18 at 81 even is number 5. Just above Flash 123 at 80.9%.
So Matt,
Actually,
you still
like
need to
Flash
send me
123
the list of what you guys have already read. So I'm gonna go back and read them all. Like, and I will say, like, Hunter Prey, like I know it was your guys' first, but like I just recently read it, and like it's fantastic, and like it, and that's probably why like I scored this one a little bit lower. Is like I've been like Hunter Prey, and then What did we read last? The annual Doomsday Annual. There was a lot of good parts in that too. So like I've been pretty good on stories lately. So like this one just kind of fell short for me a little bit compared to those ones. Like I've been
Well,
Yeah,
when
yeah.
yeah,
TM, when this is done,
Yeah.
you're going to count the story not as one issue, but as the death of Superman's story. And
Yeah.
when that happens, like it is better as a
as
group.
a whole. Mm.
Yeah, you'll it's a great hole to get
Sorry.
into.
We've also done one of the ones from this Death and Return already with Superman 82 there.
No, 80.
80, sorry, yeah, Superman 80.
I forget that one. Which one was
one's
that?
Superman 80?
The destruction of Coast
That's
City.
Oh, that was part of the death.
The destruction
Yes.
of what?
it's part of the return.
Coast
No,
City.
Return.
Green Lantern
Yeah.
st- yeah, it's part of the
Green
return.
Lantern story. Okay.
That
Yeah.
makes sense. Okay.
It is important to note that out of the top, if you look at the top 5 books, I have picked 3 of them. That's all.
Well, out of the top 5, I
No,
picked
no,
the top 2.
no. We collectively came up with Hunter Prey.
Yeah, that's why it counts for both of
So
us.
I kind of
Yeah.
wanted to, like, that's one thing that kind of bothered me. That's why, in a weird way, I kind of wanted to pick a different book where I could pick like a mini series, because there's a couple mini series that I really like, and I kind of want to expose to the world that would be really great. Like I just read Basket Full of Heads.
Yes.
That's a really good little mini series.
And then the follow-up, Refrigerator Full of Heads.
Refrigerator Full of Heads, yeah. And there's certain books like that you can't just read the first book because it's by itself. It's an incomplete story. It doesn't really work. You need to read the full thing. So yeah. So there's a couple like that.
I feel like when I added this up, I skipped somebody. I don't know who, but that's a big
But
chunk,
I'll go
bro.
with Journey into Mystery 83. So I think that's a one and done story.
Yeah.
Big change up we've been doing. I think we've done all DC since I've come on.
Probably.
Yeah.
Maybe one indie. No, I think we had one indie, didn't we?
I don't know. We did Hansi. That was not DC.
Yeah, Hansi. That was like my choices are all over the place.
We've had a couple of Marvel in there.
No,
That
not
counts
since I've been
there.
on.
We had a whole bunch of Marvel
not
actually.
tons since
with
I've
the
been on.
X-Men series stuff.
We're just coming out of a Marvel phase. Yeah, so.
Yeah. Since I've been on, it's been.
You are the one
it's
that
been
picked
decent.
Animal Man.
Yeah, he did pick
Yeah.
Animal Man, so that put us back into DC.
So you contributed to this.
I fully admit that I did. I just don't have good Marvel titles to be like, let's read this that I want to. Like I'm interested in reading good Marvel titles and stuff. Like that's why I like this whole setup where like each person gets to pick a book. So you're just like, oh, you get exposed to a book that you've never read or a book that somebody really loves and you get to experience for the first time. That's what I like about it. I like the format.
We're doing Batman on Collector Club this Friday. And
Oh, that's right. Battle on Batman. I have 2 boxes filled with slabs.
I'm looking
for,
forward to your
Batman.
books, Alan. Yeah.
Wow.
So I have a few.
Yeah, so hopefully we could touch some bases on that. We'd had a really fun Superman showdown, and this will be the Battle of the Bat. And what do you got going on, Alan, on your channel?
So I got a couple cool things. Tomorrow is another part of this crazy unboxing that I'm doing right now. I don't know why nobody watched the one from today, today or yesterday. Those were both good videos. I'm just saying, watch my videos today. But on Friday, I'm doing a challenge, and I put that out to anybody that wants to take part. But it's a challenge where I show all the grades of comics, like from no cover all the way up to 9.8 for CGC. So all the different grades and my favorite books for each.
Damn.
From my
That's
collection.
very ambitious, admittedly.
It was a lot of books. It was like there's a lot of grades actually. So yeah, so that was what I did.
I
thought it was-
particularly like how you told me about it by saying you can show your one slab.
I know. Well, I know you only have one slab.
I know, but it's a 9/8, so at least it's at the top of the
I know
spectrum.
you're at the top. Yeah.
What you got going on your channel there, Matthew?
Well, let's see. I have a video dropping tomorrow morning, and Saturday morning it'll be my response to Alan's slab challenge.
Hmm.
There's no Superman Sunday this week, so it'll be Tuesday. I've got Thomas O'Donnell as my guest, and on
Nice.
Tuesday after my live stream, I'm going to be on the 811 show with Gary the Casual. Nate did it a couple weeks ago. Gary the Casual guy, comic guy.
10-11.
1011. Okay,
Mhm.
so I'm going to be on that 1011.
There you go. I've been on there a couple times. I think TM has too. And you can catch D on my channel at anytime he feels like perusing. And TM's been hanging out on the 2 to 4s, and that's about it, guys. Thank you everybody for watching. Next week we'll be doing Journey 83. The first man.
I'd like to be on your 2 to 4, but I don't get off work till 3:30. So
Yeah, that's cool, man. Sometimes I go a little later than that, and sometimes I get on the stream after like 7 or 8 too. So we'll see. It's hard with the kid, but it's Easter break, so I'll be streaming later.
So
So
is that Easter weekend this week? Is Friday a holiday?
yeah,
no,
it's coming for us in America. My kid's only got like 4 or
Isn't it
5
Good
days left.
Friday, Matt?
Good Friday's not till a week from Friday.
Oh, so it's next week, not this week.
Yes,
Next
not this week.
week. Okay.
I was just talking to Melody. There's only a few days of school left, so yeah, it's
So-
probably next week.
I might do a live stream on the weekend. My wife is out of town, so I can sort of chill and do things.
Yeah, I've got too much. That's the thing. I actually Sunday I've got to sort of put everything bleaker on in the background because I got a lot of stuff around the house I got to do.
Mm.
You could catch me on The Hunt. I am the cover champ, and Becker's my manager. You catch me on Sunday Church. I'll be on Papa Willie's tomorrow for Sweet Chin Music, and a myriad of other channels. Don't forget Hoodat and his unboxings, graphic content, all that whatnot.
Isn't there a Band of Brothers this weekend?
Saturday we're selling books, Band of Brothers, that's right, auction. I might post it on my channel too. I think I might sell a
What
few
time
books.
is your what time is Band of Brothers? 7?
It's usually about 7 or 8, yeah, on Bleaker.
I do a
Hoodat.
live stream
saw it at
tomorrow.
8.
Oh, no, on Saturday I won't.
Well,
I won't
Saturday.
conflict. I won't conflict with you guys. I'll try to make sure. I'll do it.
You said
early.
tomorrow, it's Saturday.
I meant Saturday.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, no worries. Yeah, I think that's it. Thank you guys very much. Really appreciate y'all's input. Sorry I kind of gave y'all hell after giving a bad score. That was kind of
We didn't
that's
actually
kind of-
give a bad score.
that was pretty bad of me, I gotta admit. Telling y'all you didn't score high enough, and I'm the reason why it didn't score high. So very sorry about that.
Mm.
We'll let it ride.
I try, guys, I promise. I must have skipped somebody. All right,
Mm.
catch y'all later. Thank you so much.